All right, Jess, welcome back. Today we are at episode 12, Digital Marketing Strategies. Are you ready?
Yes, always.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about digital all the episodes with several aspects of digital. So today is the topic, like we all have been waiting, right? Digital marketing. We never day in, day out on this. So marketing is interesting, especially with this new technology shift happening in the market. A lot of people are comparing today's technical transformation with .com boom a couple of decades ago. So interesting to see how it's shifting lately. Okay, so let's dive in. About environmental impact. How do digital marketing efforts help green sustainability? I think digital marketing contributes to green sustainability anyways by reducing all those dependencies on resource-heavy processes, traditional methods, and it anyways promote environmental practices by saving papers, by running campaigns digitally, and it encourages to use different aspects of technology to boost outreach. So it reduces number of physical events that anyways marketing had to do otherwise. So means less traffic, less chaos in the real world. It still have next to perfect outreach depending on the strategy. So data management on digital systems is very efficient compared to piling up paper files and folders in the office shelves or closets. So digital marketing from all aspects is very much environmental friendly. About like brands who use digital channels definitely have a better advantage from the other companies who do not use digital aspect. Today, it's hard to find any business who is not digital. But again, we talk about maturity aspect in this. So who are more mature are more environment friendly and even better efficient from all aspects. So definitely it's eco-friendly. And from the resource optimization side, if it is addressed correctly, data-driven targeting that reduces unnecessary ad spends because you can segment the audience and you can definitely target those geos, those demographic aspects and segments and correlate content and customer journey to those audience. And it also avoids digital clutter because like you're not showing everything to everybody. You're showing the right content to the right person at the right time. The campaigns like this are definitely energy efficient at scale. So it is not just efficient, it can be a strategic tool to advancing a brand's environmental responsibility. And all companies should focus on optimizing their digital processes. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very omni-channel and hybrid world that we live in somewhat right now. There's a very interesting intersection of digital versus traditional. But then even with traditional, also including some elements of digitalization in terms of the process, like the creative process, for example, let's say the companies, the agencies using generative AI to support them in the creative content, the creative visualization, then that get produced into the traditional media still, like the traditional album, for example, billboards that we're seeing. So that itself, I find that quite interesting. But then, of course, going back to strictly from a channel activation perspective, I think when we look at out of home or those huge billboards, I still see them quite a lot. when I go to Singapore and when I travel around, they have kind of changed to become digital in that sense. That's what we call like digital out of home screen, instead of just huge printed billboards on their own. And then even if you are still doing print or digital out of home, we can also still look at green printing technology, for example, printing on sustainable materials and also biodegradable kind of materials, and also how do we do installation without harming the environment, things like that. And then there's also another additional element of what a technology called fake. We call it fake out of home, which is actually a step even further to bring audiences, into the whole physical experience in the comfort of their home digitally, without actually needing to change the actual physical facade. I'm not sure if you've seen a lot of those cases where you are. It's blowing up on social. You have filters that show like there's one that was done with a Korean fake out home content producer. They do a whole Chupa Chup campaign just using that technology in the theme park. So from the viewer's phone, they see a huge giant Chupa Chup Ferris wheel. But when you're actually at the theme park itself, of course, there's no such Ferris wheel there because it would take so much effort to build it. But the magic of this is the viewers who are looking at it from a social perspective on their phones, they can actually see and visualize what it would be, and they actually absorb into the whole immersive experience. And that's so much more scalable. I call that like almost like borderless kind of marketing and messaging, without needing to actually disrupt the physical environment. Have a huge Chupa Chup Ferris wheel there. Yeah. Of course, if you want to have that, you can, but it will cost you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
To just have it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Of course, borderless marketing. That's the beauty of digital.
Yes. Borderless. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's jump on to financial implications. What is the cost effectiveness of digital marketing compared to traditional methods? That's obviously advantage with digital. That's significant. It's more cost effective and faster than traditional marketing method. It offers better targeting. You can measure your ROI in real time, and you can even scale with with that real time analytics. You can change your messaging. You can retarget with your content to that person in order to optimize the customer journey efficiently. And with all that, imagine like if you have to do that in the traditional method, you send some content to your audience and you understand their response and their reactions, and then you have to adjust and change your strategy. With the traditional method, you have to reinvest a lot of efforts and money to adjust your strategy, and it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. And by the time the strategy is executed and there's time to measure, you mean like your opportunity is already gone, most likely. So talking about digital, like it's not just more cost effective, it's much more efficient as well. It delivers more value per dollar by maximizing outreach. You have better control on your campaigns, and you can measure its performance much faster and accurately, making it a smart investment for businesses of any size. I would rather say it can, to the manufacturing business, like it can lower production and distribution cost by understanding your target audience's sentiments, their demand, their emotions. So your campaigns can require less printing and postage, of course, with all this. So content can be created and distributed instantly using emails, using social media and other channels. So by doing all this, you're not just reducing waste, but you're more focused and much faster with the right audience. And as I said, like you can definitely understand engagement of your content and campaigns with your audience and readjust on the fly based on performance data and can optimize the next intent-based relationship with your content so you can create high chance of conversion. With the traditional method, it's been very difficult to do that. And when we are talking at scale, as you said, borderless. See, imagine like local versus your audience like 100 miles away. There are different kind of investments, but on digital, when you go to digital side, it doesn't matter 100 miles or 200 or 10. Your campaign is same, your cost is same. So your scalability increases by very less marginal cost. So overall, it's not even proportional. It is like highly marginal cost saving aspect when you go digital on the marketing.
Yeah, I think the scalability is something that's the biggest benefit under the optimization of it. That's for sure. Because when we talk about even for the out of home, the digital out of home concept, it's I see it as a smart shared ad space, right? Which reduce the number of physical ad placement and spaces that everyone needs, and everybody pays less to get the ad space in that sense. And what would be really good is I'm seeing these more as like they are at malls, they are at certain bus stops or taxi stops and places like that. It would be good if they can be also added to, for example, the buses themselves. The bus wraps right now, they're all still printed. But let's say these can be a digital form, a digital out of home type of concept, and even the taxi wrap. That would be even better, in terms of if we talk about the cost as well as our environment. And I just I mentioned a little bit of the fake out of home. Although the current technology for fake out of home, it can get a little bit costly because it still uses a lot of the virtual reality, augmented reality kind of technology. And it does cost quite a bit just to have that kind of technology and visualization and animation. But I would foresee this will become more cost effective because of the technology advancement. Probably in the next year or so, it will be much more attainable as well. But then if you look at it from a cost perspective versus, for example, TV ads and traditional newspaper ads in the mainstream publications, these types of cost of production and cost of execution for the fake out of home would actually be still not as costly. Like the TV ads actually still cost a lot more for the ad placement. And then when we talk about measuring, like the cost per read, cost per click, the ad bidding, these can be controlled digitally by the advertiser themselves. They have more autonomy as control what the maximum that they want to bid for that space, for that view, for that click, for that engagement or the conversion versus traditional advertising. For example, if we talk about is already prefixed at the publisher's level. It's based on the entire readership reach, their circulation size. It takes the power away from the advertiser. So that's how I see it, why digital marketing totally would be a bit more cost optimized and cost efficient for companies.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like, see, when the flyers are printed and it's already distributed, and imagine if there was a typo or a mistake in that, it's hard to fix. It's already up. But if you are at digital aspect, like you can hold up on execution, fix it, and rerun it right before it distributed. Yeah. So it's very less costly to fix the problem in this case before it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Yeah.
True. Alrighty. So operational efficiency. So in what ways do digital campaigns streamline marketing operations? One of these examples I just mentioned about when you are running a campaign and you have a consistent workflow, there are less chances of errors, and you have better SLA performance, and even collaboration across teams is much more efficient, and you're more data driven in this case, so decisions making are easier, faster, and more efficient. When in marketing automation, it's complicated. Like when you are talking about thousands or hundreds of thousands of leads to run like on a monthly basis. You want to communicate them with email and retarget them on the website and social media, running paid campaigns. Imagine all this if not doing digital, if you're running campaigns holistically in the offline. It's not impossible, but it's very, very difficult to run at that scale at speed. Things that can be run on digital, like in a month, for example, even a year is not enough to do something like that. And today's situation, like when marketing is shifting like every couple months, traditional way of doing campaigns today are going to obsolete by the time the first phase is done. So ROI and consistency to win is very tough, is very low on the traditional method. But on the talking about digital, as soon as your campaign is executed, your emails are out, we can start looking at data right away. I mean, within minutes, you can like how many emails are opened, how many of those are clicked. And based on user actions, we can trigger another email automatically to send a follow-up or better value asset to convert those users even faster. So ROI, probability, and speed is much higher on the digital way. And since it's already set on rules, scalability is very easy and very reliable. And like, as I mentioned, look, like hundreds of thousands of leads that we're talking about at this point, that one workflow can handle all of them with the same effort as just 100 leads. So you have no limits as long as your systems in the backend can support the load. And from that aspect, cloud technology is there to help for scaling and scale out depending on your loads. Your digital asset management is another pillar to organize your content using your metadata and tags in an efficient way, so you can map customer journey touch points with your content, with your persona, with engagement level, and the potential intent signal of your visitor or your prospect, and show that right content at the right time. So marketing operations are more efficient this way because with all that tech stack in place. So digitally, operations are highly likely to scale and stay robust to run your marketing efforts efficiently. Talking about workflows, which is another great advantage of automation. All your repeatable processes, your repeatable exercise, and your customer journey touchpoints can be designed in workflows in such a way, and your content mapping is leveraged to retarget your audience on different channels also in that organized fashion, like your email marketing, your social media marketing, your paid campaigns, and your web efforts. So that for example, if a visitor comes to the website, consume some content, but didn't give the contact information, but goes to the search, go to social media, maybe LinkedIn. So imagine LinkedIn will start showing your relevant content based on the customer journey and previous engagement on your website related to if you're running a campaign on LinkedIn. And even your email automation system can also send your marketing next potential step email to that person to even engage even further. So all that is very difficult to do outside digital media. So operationally, I would say there is no comparison, and traditional method can never beat in hundreds of years the scale of digital marketing that we can achieve today.
For sure. There is huge potential if companies approach it the right way, right? I mean, of course, now we're still talking about CDPs at the marketing level, but I at the business level, based on the client conversations that I've been having, we are also already moving towards talking about we call it the UDP. That's like the unified data platforms, where you really to combine everything, your business intelligence, your customer intelligence, and your marketing intelligence into one centralized platform. So we call it the centralized marketing and data, customer data platforms, which then, of course, at the marketing level, we talk about the consolidation as well of all the different MarTech tools or channels that we're using for email, like you mentioned, for mobile, for push notifications or push communications, even all for social media content, all the way to web content, for example, and then having a unified way to measure, track the engagement via social, digital advertising, and proactive push communications, proactive customer communication, and then all the way to looking at how we are planning for our campaigns. From the get-go, we are evaluating those campaigns, managing them on a daily basis, and then tracking them using a marketing or project management type of platform, and then how that itself gets integrated as well into the way you are executing them across teams. And I think, when more organizations start embracing all these tools, of course, we started adding a lot more tools along the way. So what is happening now, of course, we did talk about this in our earlier podcast with the clutter of tools, right? And people are not taking stock of all the MarTech technology that have been piling up. It's a bit like at the business level, the whole digital transformation journey. We're not taking stock of all the tech tools that have been piling up. And now with generative AI, I think it adds to the operational efficiency complex, because we're adding more tools now. We're creating content, we're creating designs, we're creating even more assets on the fly, and it's so easy to just create it with just prompting. Then I see that from an operational perspective, digital asset management will become a big part of the process, which currently not enough attention is being paid to. So we should also have a digital asset clutter become a problem, just as what we have with the website and the numerous web pages getting added, as well without proper management to the web page clutter. So I guess that it's a fine balance when we talk about efficiency. So and this is a big part of marketing operation to keep it hygiene, to clear the clutter. Don't just look at the tools, but also look at what is being created as a result of using those tools in the form of your assets, to make sure that, again, yeah.
You brought a very good point on the digital asset clutter. That's real. I won't deny. I mean, we had to reboot our digital asset management system few times. Like we have to do that every couple of years, because we start fresh, but as content keeps growing, it is tough to keep up the hygiene, and because business changes, taxonomy changes over time too. So we have to support often, we have to support assets with previous taxonomy with the new taxonomy, but business runs with new taxonomy moving forward. But like there are systems and customers who are still with old products that we're no longer offering for new customers. So supporting the past and projecting the future, and we live in between. So, and that's always the case. And as you mentioned, website, the assets, like that clutter is real. And what I have learned is like rebooting these channels over time, over and over again is a good practice. It is huge effort, but at least it removes everything that is not needed. But when we are in the running engine, it is complicated to take that level of risk to clear off everything. We may not be able to find everything that is not needed, right? With the huge effort, we might still leave something behind. Yeah, so it's another conversation maybe, the hygiene aspect of digital channels. But I agree with you that clutter is real. Yeah, I feel that.
Even cloud runs out of space, There's a cloud storage limit.
There are systems. I mean, you touched cloud. Now I have another example talking about cloud. When cloud is expensive, it is not cheap.
Yeah.
And it starts cheap, but bills grow faster than we can even imagine, right? So, and it's again like services that we sometimes are impossible to stop, but we not even need those services. But still, like we cannot really stop because of some little process is still running for production uptime. So because of that little process, we don't want to take a risk to shut down the service as a whole. Yeah, I mean, like that's probably one more episode, very different conversation about cloud.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. And the offboarding of services that are no longer useful.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, one example is keep coming in my mind right now, but maybe I'll keep it for some time later. Yeah. Cloud is again, like that's another clutter. Alrighty. Let's move on to our next topic, customer experience. How does targeted digital marketing enhance customer engagement? I mentioned before in, I think, one of those episodes that the marketing is all about showing the right content to the right audience at the right time. And that's exactly what digital marketing helps at scale in much efficient way across multiple channels. And that's what engages and benefits businesses within the customer satisfaction. We all want the information that we want to see, not anything that businesses want us to see. We don't like them if they push us to the content that we don't want to see. Even if we walk into the store and salesmen show up and start showing us stuff, we don't like them. We tell them, hey, I'll let you know if I need anything. Let me walk around, right? So when same goes to digital, I don't want to see everything when I'm researching on something. If anything comes up that is exactly relevant to my need, it's high chance I'll spend more time on that channel, right? I'll even browse even further. So that's the beauty of digital marketing, that it is possible, and possible in a much faster way and efficient. And it can increase response rates. And it is consistent across omni-channel. It ensures seamless experience across email, social media, website, your mobile app, wherever your customers are. Your omni-channel experience can make sure that your customers are seeing the same brand message according to their stage on the customer journey and the past engagements. So it doesn't happen automatically. I mean, like we still have to make some implementation, apply some rules, apply some intelligence on top of that, and more data-driven real-time personalizations to implement as well. but it is very easy to implement, and that can go to any level. Other thing is like when you scroll through Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and you stop on some video, have you ever noticed videos after that are very much similar to that subject?
Mm-mm.
And how it happens? For example, for the last few days, you have been watching cooking videos. All of a sudden, one fitness video you stopped and you watched, and then after that, there are more fitness related videos keep coming up. So it's behavior based personalization. So all these systems are understanding your habits, your browsing interests, and the time spent on different content materials by you, using your location, your channels you are interacting through. So that behavior based segmentation is something that is very useful to do using digital marketing tools. And that's how you can even engage with your customers in a very timely and contextual way. Eventually, what your goal is to increase your conversions, to make your content engage with your customers better, more, so your ROI goes high. And that's exactly what digital marketing helps to do. Traditional method can do it as well. But I mean, when there was no digital, marketing was there and businesses were running, and it was similar structure. Some businesses were failing, some businesses were succeeding. The difference was that only how efficiently those businesses have been interacting with their customers and how happy their customers are. That is never changing, digital or not. But with digital, you can do the same thing. You can engage with your customers very fast, understand their emotions and sentiments and their intent signals and their demand much faster, and can adjust your content delivery in real time across all channels. You can orchestrate different channels using your metadata behind the screen, understand customers' behavior with your content, even outside your content. There are tools available these days using marketing services. Third-party services can even tell you, okay, if you're targeting a certain bank to sell your services, what that bank is actually doing on the internet, on other businesses like yours. So you can by using those services, you can understand their intent signal and their interest level, and there are others, even more services available to tell you what kind of budget they are carrying right now in their bag. And you can monetize on top of that. You can directly target to their intent, to their need, according to the budget in front of them. So your conversion can go high. So, I mean, you are connecting with your prospects or customers in much targeted way with very relevant information. So you get their attention right away. Means you are relying on data, you're being data driven, and these insights help refine your messaging, right? It offers based on real-time feedback and engagement pattern. That's exactly what you should be doing. Customers should feel seen. They want to be understood and valued. That leads to higher satisfaction, loyalty, and long-term retention. I'm not saying they're always right, but customers mostly win when it's time to decide, right? So better you keep your business on the customer side and then map everything from there to your operations, so that you are more aligned with customers' interests and their needs. Of course, when they are emotionally happy with you, they will stay. And historically, a lot of researchers have proven that your existing customers, 20% of your existing customers can give you up to 80% of revenue. So, where to put your efforts. Right?
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think you made a good point about retention targeting versus acquisition targeting, right? Which is the base, the beauty of digital marketing, because it allows us to exactly target you, retarget if you're not responding to the first message or the first visual or the first part of content and engagement, and then retarget and remarket, using link tracking as well to the enhanced experience so that we can nurture that engagement, nurture their journey and relationship with a different message, a more relevant message based on their behavior on our other and also our other platform. Just as we try to avoid, for example, retargeting our existing customers and giving them a message as if they are new to us, because that shows a lack of care, a lack of attention and understanding, which is what, as you said, let's appreciate that kind of acknowledgement that they are our. So even there are simple things like special booking links for restaurants after you have booked and then you visited them for the first time, they come back to you with a message to ask for the experience rating, feedback, and then they give you a special booking link in your name that makes you feel special. Like the next time you come, you just use this link. And even for shopping brands as well, when they have a new launch, you remember that what you bought from them before, and then they remind you and say, hey, our upcoming collection, something that might, be of your interest as well. And then reminders of previous purchases and even items that might be running low in your fridge or your cupboard. These are all little actions that brands can use to demonstrate how they understand the customer and their buying journey and their relationship with that. That's why I think it's also very important if we can have our own ecosystem and app platform. For those brands that can have that, like the mobile app platform itself, I think that is increasingly important. Remember we were talking about cookies application just a while ago. Suddenly it went away for a bit, because we were all worried about all those walled gardens started popping up when cookies were getting deprecated before they got taken over by Gen AI conversations. Because we all know why these started popping up, why it's so important to have your own domain app platform, why it's so important to have your own customer relationship and engagement platform. That's simply because, we know that you can and you want to collect all the data. And that is only possible if you have a digital process to capture that. You have a digital platform to capture that. Because data simply gives you that knowledge about your customer and knowledge itself is power, as we all know. So for sure, we can't deviate away from talking about digital marketing and how it can enhance customer engagement and customer experience in that context. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes. Yeah. So marketing, it's all about creating a buzz, getting customers' attention, right?
Yeah.
Once the attention is there, then we can start engaging with them. And that's what the primary motive of marketing, right? Bringing awareness, creating that buzz, engage, and then moving those leads down into the funnel. So, and digitally, yes, there are a lot of possibilities to drive this operation very efficiently, more customer focused and more aligned with business. Great conversation, Jess. Thank you very much for your great insights as always. And we'll come back with episode 13 very soon.
Yes. Thank you as well, as always, for sharing your insight.
Great. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Cheers.